It's Jack from B&T MacFarlane. Today we're going to go over the difference between the U series from Kubota and the KX series from Kubota. So let's get into it. This is a really common question we get from customers when they're shopping between excavators. Kubota, they don't do the best job describing what the difference is between these two excavators in some of the literature. So today I hope we can narrow down your choice and look at the differences between these two lines of excavators. Generally in Kubota's lineups, on every single size of the machine, ranging from about the 2-ton machine like these ones here, all the way up to about the 6-ton machine, you're going to see variations that differ between a KX model and a U series model. So the biggest difference between these two models is, as you can hopefully tell right here, is going to be the tail swing configurations on them. Generally on your U series, it's going to be tight tail swing or zero tail swing, as you will see in the U17 here. That essentially means when you swing the machine around, the back end of the machine, the counterweight portion, isn't going to stick over the width of the track. Where in your KX series, you're going to have a larger counterweight back here, which means that when you swing the machine around, you're actually going to hang outside of the width of the tracks. Typically, when we're looking between these two excavators, a U series with the zero or tight tail swing is better for somebody working in tight residential areas, where when you swing the machine around, you don't want to hit the side of a building or hit somebody in general when you're working in those tighter areas. A KX series is a nice option because you get a little bit narrower track, but with that rear counterweight, it actually has a little bit more lifting capacity over the front and over the side compared to the U series in the same class. So for example, these two models here, the U17 and the U18, this is going to be Kubota's 1.7 and 1.8 ton excavators, and the KX, you're going to be lifting at a couple hundred pounds more than the U17, and that's just because of that counterweight out the back. It's a little bit more stable when you're digging over the front of the machine. As well, you're going to notice a huge amount of stability when you're digging over the side of the machine. So in terms of the boom and different attachments you can put on these excavators, generally they're going to be about the same size. The only difference is that on your KX model, in some configurations, in some series of excavators, you do get a little bit longer boom reach in order to actually reach out there, say with an auger or a breaker, to get the job done a little bit more efficiently. But you're not going to gain, say, a much bigger auger bit going from the KX 018 to the U17. They both do have the same hydraulic systems on them. When looking at every single comparable option between the U series and KX on every class of excavator in Kubota, you will notice a pretty significant difference on the operator's platform. The U series, since it doesn't have the counterweight, it's not as long of a machine, so you're going to have a little bit tighter, more confined operator's platform, where on the KX model, it's going to be a little bit bigger operator's platform. Because of that counterweight, Kubota, they're actually able to push the seat and push all the operator's controls further back, giving you a little bit more legroom. So if you're a bigger guy, taller guy than the KX model, it's going to be a little bit more suited towards you because you're going to have a little bit more room underneath the operator's platform. With that being said too, the biggest difference in the operator's comfort is going to be noticed in the 2-ton lineup. On the 2-ton, there's a huge difference between the U17 and the KX 018, and that difference kind of gets a little bit smaller once you get into bigger excavators. Once you get around the 3.5, 4-ton range, generally they're about the same inside. So you can't make a Kubota construction video without talking about availability on these excavators. Like most things, they are pretty back-ordered, and if you wanted to get one for maybe mid to late summer, I would recommend putting your name on one as soon as possible in order to secure it for later in the summer. Typically at this dealership, we see more people go with the KX model, and that's just because normally people want the most power they can get within that class of excavators. So if your biggest concern is just getting through the backyard gate, but once you're into the customer's backyard or the client's backyard, once you're back there, you're free to dig, then the more powerful machine might be more suited towards you. Again, between these two machines, there will be a little bit of a price difference going from the U model to the KX model. It varies depending on what size. Of course, the difference between the U17 and the U18, it's not going to be as much going from the 6-ton variation of the U to the KX 057, which is the KX 6-ton excavator. As always, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching, and if you liked the video, remember to like and subscribe. And if you need help with parts, sales, or service, give us a call at 613-225-0555. Thank you.